Hello and welcome to the Understanding Narcissist channel. This episode is going to be about another very simple thing, which is how narcissists express themselves to other people, how they communicate with other people, and how they kind of indicate how they're doing. Very simple idea. And especially to you, how they tell you how they're doing. With respect to your proximity to them. So whether you're living with them, which is an entirely different matter than when they're your neighbor you're not very well acquainted with, or this will especially apply to people who know a narcissist personally, as a family member, whatever, they're still connected to them, but they're not necessarily living with them. And when you see the contrast between living with them, what they say when you're living with them and how that feels, and what happens when you're, for whatever reason, fortunately, you're not living with them, and that comparison, that contrast. And that sheds a lot of light on how they present themselves. So, something I've almost always found is there is kind of two modes the narcissists go in, roughly. And that is to say that they're distinctly different. They have the same goal, but they're two different approaches to getting the same thing. So when you're around them, when you're under their direct control, and they can call you and they can reach you, personally, and they're around all the time, that's when you're going to see the most overt stuff, especially when you're isolated. You have to be isolated too, but that's when you're going to see the most overt stuff and the things I've been talking about in the other videos. However, in a setting where you're not always exposed, but you're still acquainted with them, the strategy changes somewhat, because now they've got to be in a bait mode. Once they've got you in a house, that's different. That's when they pull out the bag of tricks and all the stuff. But they apply those tools differently given the situation. So when you're not under their roof, or in a situation where they have, again, direct control, you are subject to the charm and wit and humor and all the other kind of, their personality wiles, the kinds of things that they want you to, they use to draw you in. Now, it's a topic for another video, but these kinds of people, narcissistic people, psychopaths as well, are extraordinarily charming. They're very, they know how to draw a crowd. They know how to be kind of a diamond in the rough. They know how to shine given a particular social situation and appear a certain way that is magnetic to people. Now, I'm not sure exactly why that is. It can vary somewhat from narcissist to narcissist, but they all have some degree of it, which is really interesting considering how socially inept they are on a personal level. There is no personal connection with a narcissist. There's nothing there. But when they're performing, they can do all kinds of stuff that you think, how can they do this? How is this actually working and happening? I'm not really sure myself. I'll probably delve into it later in a later video, but suffice it to say that in the situation where you're not under their direct control, that's when those traits make themselves apparent. Or when you're initially meeting them and they're drawing you in, that's when you're going to see, during that first stage, that first interaction and contact, is when you're going to see them really go to work with the charm. One of the things you'll always notice is that, and it's a big giveaway of problems, is that their lives are perfect. They're doing, really to quote it as I see it, they're always doing great. They're always doing awesome. And it makes sense. You can kind of intuitively understand why that is, that being kind of attractive and drawing you in, and then making you feel like you're a part of something. And it makes you feel better in that moment. That's something that's so insidious about narcissists, is that they can make you feel really good. They can be nice. They know how to make people feel valued. However, it does not give them any value, but they are able to recognize it, at least for a short period of time, in order to hook you in. Now, that's the reason that's so insidious, is because that's kind of my definition of pure evil, is when they're aware of what they're doing and they don't have to do it. They don't have to do it. They don't have to be evil. It's not, they play you like, oh, it's something they can't control. Oh, they're a victim. Oh, they're whatever it was, the pity party, the abuse, anything that you level at them, they go, oh, they're always the ones, they had no control. They don't know what they're doing. They really don't know what's good for them and that kind of thing. But then it turns out, no, they know exactly what they're doing. At least on that instinctual reactive level. Because they're able to function. They're able to go to work and hold a job, most of them. They're able to get along in the world and continue to manipulate people very well. They're very adept at it. And so then you see that part, which is, it's all a lie. They don't do it because they don't want to. Because it doesn't make them feel good. They don't care about you. They just want the control. Veered off a little bit, but I thought that was an interesting side note. So, the doing great. Life is perfect. And remember, it's perfect in the way that it's imperfect. Imperfection is believable. People don't believe perfect people. They can make you feel bad. They can make you feel like, oh, I'm not as good as them. But when it comes down to it, what makes it most believable is when they're perfect in their supposed imperfection that they lay. They're perfect in that imperfection. They're able to use that to make it even more believable, so it's like they really are perfect. And they don't even know it. That makes it more powerful too. When you reach that conclusion yourself and they don't tell you that, you just get that feeling. So the distance that kind of produces the attitudes, the methods, all the stuff that you're going to see from them. They always change with the situation to get what they want. They're under their roof, different thing. You're going to see the more overt, direct stuff. When they're away, they're going to get you on that path to draw you in. I thought it was more than just an interesting side note. I thought it was kind of a valuable piece of information because it really does show how they change from situation to situation. You don't go to when you think about the narcissist, you think about the principles I've laid out in these videos. You don't think about the kinds of motivations and things they put forward in their own argument. You don't think about the things you actually hear them say that other people believe when they're in social situations, when they're at home, whatever. You look at what they continually do, what the pattern of behavior is, what they say and then what they do, which is, again, you see the opposites principle at work. It'll often be the direct opposite. Whatever they say they really want, they really don't want it. Your success, your happiness, all that kind of stuff. And how they ground it in behind that facade. It's mind-numbing when you're exposed to it. When you get out of it, then you can kind of begin to understand, begin to work through it. So I thought that was a useful little tidbit. Like this video if you like it. Comment in the comment section below. Share it with someone you think might benefit from it. And thanks for watching and have a wonderful day. Bye.